Many years ago, people looked up and noticed that there was a link between the movement of the lights in our sky and our lives. Priests and other intellectuals began to study the heavens and associated the moving bodies with gods and assigned them qualities. This is the history of astronomy and also the history of astrology. Let me break it down. Astronomy is the study of objects and matter outside the Earth's atmosphere and of their physical and chemical properties. Astrology is the divination of the supposed influences of the stars and planets on human affairs and terrestrial events by their positions and aspects. They both deal with stars, so obviously they are connected. But when I started researching, I found that astronomy and astrology were studied together until a very messy split at the end of the European Renaissance. They sound similar because they were once synonymous. It is my personal belief that they were both known as astrology before the split, because like the word biology, astrology ends in the suffix logi. That suffix comes from the Latin logia and the Greek word logos, which is logic or the rational principle that governs and develops the universe. But that's just a theory. So this means your favorite minds in astronomy, such as Ptolemy, Tycho Brahe, Galileo Galilei, and Johannes Kepler, were all big in astrology. Before the Catholic Church decided it was
the devil's work,
astrology was studied in universities alongside math, science, medicine, and astronomy. But predicting the future was a bit too close to magic, and as we learned more about the universe, astrology got demoted to a pseudoscience. But I'm not here to debate whether astrology should be seen as a science. That's none of my business, and there are more than enough researchers out there doing the studies and doing the work trying to prove both sides. Personally, I refuse to live my life by some blurb in a magazine or on an app. However, I have always been interested in the planets and in the stars, and astrology seems to go a lot deeper than
"You seem confident on the outside, but deep down you're insecure."
Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. We're all familiar with our sign. Even the anti-astrology people know when their birthday is and what sign that makes them. But that's not the only sign. As we know, the sun follows a path throughout our sky. This path is known as the ecliptic. If you take the 360 degrees and divide it by 30 days, you end up with 12 signs. There's a 13th sign, but it's like the guy who lives down the street that comes to all of your family cookouts. Go home, Greg. The sign you know is represented by the position of the sun along the ecliptic. The constellations of the zodiac follow the ecliptic. Therefore, if you were born on January 15th, the sun was in the 30-degree section of the ecliptic known to us as Capricorn. This would result in Capricorn being your sun sign. Sun sign? Yes, this one sign is attributed to the sun. According to astrology, the position of all planets have an effect on your personality, depending on their position in the sky the moment you took your first breath. You also have to take into account where you were born to get the most accurate star chart because of time zones. But also because it only takes 4 minutes for the sky to change, and this one chart is very specific upon exactly where you were and exactly when you were born. The charting of every planet location at your time of birth is known as your natal chart. Each planet represents a different aspect of your personality. This is mostly due to the fact that when astronomy and astrology were in their infancy, the planets embodied gods and goddesses. So here's a quick breakdown of what each planet in your natal chart represents. The sun, I am. The moon, I feel. Rising, I exude. Mercury, I think. Venus, I love. Mars, I act. Jupiter, I grow. Saturn, I achieve. Uranus, I evolve. Neptune, I dream. Pluto, I empower. So each planet can be in a specific sign. Additionally, their placement in that 30-degree slice of pie in the sky can be separated between 3 different decans, which all have different aspects. And on top of that, the way the planets relate to each other can change the meaning. Your sun sign can be conjunct your moon, your Jupiter can oppose your Pluto, your Venus could be square your Mercury, and your Mars can be sextile or trine your Neptune. All of these options make you more than just a Virgo. But the most interesting thing of all is that all of these planet placements have been used throughout history, and not just to see if you're going to be compatible with your future husband or wife. Predicting events has always been a large part of astrology. It's one of the main reasons it got demoted to a pseudoscience. Interesting story. Way back in the day, there were a group of astrologers who came across a prediction that there would be a strange conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn. It predicted they would come together 3 times in 1 year. This conjunction happened in the sign of Pisces. Zoroaster said in his prediction that this would usher in the birth of a new king. So these astrologers determined a time and a place and set off on a road trip. When they arrived in Bethlehem, they discovered a baby in a stable. The 3 wise men were wise because they were astrologers. Mundane astrology is the drawing of charts for countries, places, and groups. It is the oldest form of astrology and one of the most commonly used by world leaders. Joan Quigley predicted the assassination attempt on President Ronald Reagan and got hired. He used her charts often, and between 1986 and 1987, he stayed indoors for 4 months because she predicted if he was caught out in public, he would be assassinated. We accept that the sun has an influence on our planet. We accept that the moon has an influence on our planet, but it's hard to think that Neptune is all the way out there making enough noise for us to feel the influence all the way on Earth. I'm not telling you to believe in astrology. I'm not telling you any of it's true, but after all the research I did, I decided to check out my natal chart, and it was super interesting. So why not head to Google, type in natal chart, and check it out for yourself.